Welcome everyone back. We are so back, so ready to the X Factor Sports Network NFL edition. Always joined by my beautiful co-host, Troy Coomer. I'm Fred Weisner. We're not stars. We're not superstars. We are X Factors. We are changing the game. Troy, how we doing?
Doing great, man. Excited to get right back after it after a very loaded NFL, NBA shows back to back. We're back like we never left. Episode 2 of the NFL Talk, episode 3 overall. So it feels good, man, just to turn these lights on again and to get right back after it.
Excited.
And let's just dive right into week 6. So last week, like I said, we keep a running total of records here, and Fred went 12-4. He had a very, very solid week. I went 11-5. So and there was one game that separated us. I'm sure we deferred on quite a few. The Lions heartbreaker absolutely gut checked me. My upset of the week was yet so close. Fred actually executed his upset of the week with the Eagles winning over the Panthers, and both our game of the weeks, he called the Bengals winning. I had the Packers by 3, and it just so happened I Houdini'd that one.
But not as a fan. You didn't want that to happen.
Not as a fan. I was in attendance. Crazy game. Insane atmosphere. Bengal fans, we're back. That's all you need to worry about. But nonetheless, let's just dive right into Thursday night football. That is tomorrow night. If you are watching this now, it is tonight. The reigning defending champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, go on the road to Philadelphia, and they play the Eagles. The Bucs are coming into it favored by 7. And Fred, just kind of dive into this one. What do you think? And obviously predict your winner.
Yeah, man, I was super impressed the way the Eagles played last week. Of course, they were my upset of the week. And it was kind of one of those games where it was like, it was my upset of the week, but did I really feel like they were going to win? Maybe not.
Yeah.
But, I think Jalen Hurts is good, man. I kind of ranked him as like a mediocre quarterback, but I think maybe he can be turned to that solid, win a few games quarterbacks, especially, in the NFL, the guys who can win those close games. And he proved that last week. But, man, Tom Brady, man. Father Time does it again. And as I mentioned to you, I was like, man, our MVP predictions from last episode was dead on. Or how
For those of you that don't know, he went Tom Brady, I went Justin Herbert. And they put on quite the performance.
Besides him or Tom, Justin, and Lamar probably put the best 3 games last week. And so, but I got the Buccaneers, and I think they win big here.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste too much time. Thursday Night Football, though, has produced some really, really good games. I thought the Bengals were going to blow out the Jaguars. They didn't. The Jaguars actually played a really good game. I can see the Eagles giving Tampa Bay secondary some trouble. They got some.
It's that short week, man. But here's the difference. The Buccaneers kind of ran through their Sunday. Eagles kind of had to fight more than they did. So I think,
But emotions could be running high for the Eagles, juiced up, ready to get back out there. The Buccaneers have been coasting pretty much all week after a dominant performance over Miami. But regardless, Buccaneers will win. But I think it'll be closer. I'm going to go Bucs by 6 if I had to put a score on it. Buccaneers by 6. I'd
go 20.
I think the Eagles just have the playmakers to give Tampa Bay secondary a real run for their money because
they're banged up.
Devontae Smith, Jalen Reagor, Quintez Watkins, Zach Ertz. Now, obviously, they don't have Zach or Dallas Goedert, but they'll be fine. They'll be just fine. But yeah, Buccaneers by 6. You're going Buccaneers big. And then the great man upstairs, the Lord Jesus has blessed us with another 9:30 a.m. game.
Y'all better be in church. I don't know what y'all are doing watching this 9:30.
But the Dolphins go on the road and play the interesting Jacksonville Jaguars. The Dolphins are favored by 3.5 points. Fred, what do you think?
I'm going to go Jags for this one, man. It's not an upset of the week because it's not really an upset to me. But I think the Jags finally get their first win this week. I think their defense is starting to play a little better. I think they played decent against Cincinnati. Of course, big Josh Allen fan. I don't know if you guys know who that is for the UK.
Best Josh Allen in football?
I would say he is. And Jaguars get done. I think Trevor Lawrence has a big game. I hope he gets Laviska Shenault, your fancy pick last week. Hope he gets him going early, kind of get him more targets and more catches. So I like the Jags in this one.
Yeah, this is one that I kind of lean the Jags, but since you went Jags, I'm gonna fade opposite because I also, like I said, I lean them, but Tua looks like he's coming back. It looks like he'll be good to go for this game. The Jaguars have so much going on. They just aren't good at all. They're
they're
poorly ran. They're poorly coached. The only thing good they got going for them is Trevor Lawrence. And Josh Allen, of course. But I'm going to go Dolphins just because I think that Tua gets this one done. I think he does. Hopefully he stays healthy. If not, I would still take them over the Jags. I just don't like the Jaguars, man. Not at all. And then the 1:00 slate opens up. It's actually a really pretty good slate of games here. It opens up with the Chargers on the road to play Baltimore. Baltimore's actually the favorite currently by 3 points. Chargers, man, have been unbelievable. Again, my MVP candidate, my MVP prediction, Justin Herbert. He looked absolutely spectacular last week. So what are your thoughts here? This is actually, honestly, if I didn't already have a game of the week that I thought was a little bit better, this one would have slid right in.
I mean, Chargers went Dallas, Kansas City, Las Vegas, and Cleveland, and now Baltimore.
And look at their record. And
they went 3-1 in that span.
Yeah.
And I think they extend that. And I think they beat Baltimore this week. Justin Herbert's too good. Austin Eckler's too good. Mike Williams is unbelievable.
The unforgotten man.
And we haven't even mentioned Keenan Allen. And the defense is playing good. Rashawn Slater on the line. Like, there's so much to love about this Chargers team. And if you're a Chargers fan, I think you should be ecstatic. Now, granted, you got to figure a way to stop Lamar because that dude went nuts on Monday night. Yeah. But I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Maybe like a 33-30, something like that. But, yeah, I got the Chargers. We got to put a score on it, I'd say, by 3.
Yeah, like you said, but there is something to this game. The Ravens have kind of gone away from their run-heavy approach due to, obviously, the injuries that they've faced. Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, all 3 out for the year. And so that's your RB1, RB2, and RB3 going into the year. So they've had to kind of piece together a backfield of like Latavius Murray, Devontae Freeman, Tyson Williams, and Le'Veon Bell whenever he gets lifted off the practice squad once every 4-5 games.
So strong.
But to me, Lamar can have another one of those, hey, look at me games. And I'm as high on the Chargers as anybody. I love the Chargers, but I do see the Ravens winning this one. Okay. I think that the Chargers, they gave up. If I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna fact check myself because I don't want to throw out this big of a claim and it not be factual. But they gave up I was right. They gave up 230 yards rushing last week to the Cleveland Browns. So that is unbelievable.
That's also to the best, or giving up to the best running back duo in the league, though.
I understand, but you arguably have the best running quarterback and one of the best running teams and running organizations we've seen in the past 5-10 years. So
the Colts really, I think, did a great job containing.
They held them under 100 yards.
They forced them to pass, and
that's been done. And Lamar threw for over 400 yards.
Yeah.
So everything Lamar this season just to me feels like Lamar saying, hey, I'll prove you guys wrong in every situation, every category. You say I can't do it, I'm going to do it. And I'm high on Baltimore. Now this could hurt my MVP case with Justin Herbert and clearly hand it over to Lamar in the driver's seat through 6 weeks. But I see the Ravens coming out. They're a really well coached, well ran team, and I'm a Lamar lover. It's hard for me. I'm a huge Justin Herbert and Lamar fan. This will be a fun game.
Really I wish they Sunday nighted this game. I know, of course, my Steelers play Sunday night, but
dude, I think looking back on it, they probably wish they could have.
Yeah. But I mean, I get it. Russell Wilson, they expected to play,
and you didn't expect whatever. We'll get into the Steelers a little bit later in that matchup. But Vikings on the road to Carolina. Carolina, as you alluded to a little bit earlier, gave up that huge lead. They should have won the game. Had it in the palm of their hand. and they blew it. And surprisingly, the Vikings opened up as favorites. It's kind of turned into a pick'em game. So Vegas is kind of telling you that this game could go either way. Fred, where do you stand on this one? Because this is, to me, probably one of the harder ones to predict out of the slate.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a must-win for Minnesota because I think with Green Bay, the way they're playing, it's going to be hard to catch them. So if they want any hope in that division, I think they got to win games like this.
And look at their Madison schedule.
Yeah, I mean, what they go
Cowboys, Ravens, Chargers,
Packers. Wow. So I mean, these are the ones you got to win. I like Kirk Cousins. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Kirk Cousins. I think he's a very solid quarterback in this league. Alexander Madison's so good at life. Like, it's insane how good he plays when he gets the opportunity. And Justin Jefferson's unreal. So, and that defense played pretty decent last week. I'm going to go Minnesota. I haven't liked what I've seen from Sam Darnold the last couple of weeks. I think he needs to step it up after a hot start.
Yeah.
It's been weird. So, I know it hurts McCaffrey, being out. But I'd like to see Sam Darnold prove it this week, but I do have Minnesota.
So Fred kind of alluded to Christian McCaffrey. Right now, his status is 50-50 from everything that we've heard, from the way Matt Rule is talking in press conferences. I try my best to stay as up to date with injuries as I possibly can. One, I'm a huge fantasy football nerd, and two, I just love having that information to help us all out. And so, yeah, I think, again, this game's hard for me, man. I love the Panthers. When Christian McCaffrey is healthy, this offense can be special. I want Joe Brady to be the offensive coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals so bad. Like, this man's unbelievable. He would make the Bengals top 5 offense, but that's for another day. But yeah, this game, man, how do the Panthers respond? Are they going to lay down? Are they going to fold and become a mediocre team? Or are they going to build off of what they have learned off of that loss? Because that's a gut-wrenching loss, man. You controlled the entire game, and then Jalen Hurts scores, and your night's ruined. But I'm going to go Panthers. I'm going to slide away. I think this is the year for the Vikings where they figure out, okay, we need to figure something else out. It's time for us to move on and maybe give Kirk a better situation to try to win elsewhere. Maybe let Adam Thielen, as hard as that would be, walk and go, figure out, I just think it's going to be an interesting next few weeks leading up to the trade deadline for the Vikings. So I'm going to go Panthers. Will they bite me in the tail again? I don't know. So the next game, it's actually a huge rivalry game. The Packers go on the road to Chicago. It's division rivalry. And I'm just going to steal this one really quickly. This is my upset of the week. The Bears are 2-0 at home. Okay. They are 2-0 at home. Is this your upset of the week as well? Mm-hmm. Okay. You kind of had that look about you. I was like, oh, are we on the same wavelength here?
No, I'm just
my upset of the week. Fred kind of alluded to how if the Vikings win, like Fred thinks they will, I think this would be a huge week for the Vikings. Because I really think the Bears win. For some reason, this team has been swept under the rug, and they're still 3-2. A win here ties them for first in the division with the Packers, and they are right where they need to be, and everybody will forget about this whole Matt Nagy's not a good coach bull jive. This dude is unbelievable. He puts them in situations to win. Upset of the week. I'm stamping it. Hopefully it's not absolutely killed by a 55-yard field goal again, like the Lions were last week against the Vikings. But nonetheless, this is my upset of the week. I'm going Bears.
Yeah, I got the Packers. I mean, I think it could happen. I very well think that Chicago could pull this out. Poor quarterback play is probably the reason they haven't been getting a lot of hype, which is,
no David Montgomery.
Yeah, but their defense, man. Khalil Mack, I mean, phenomenal year. Roquan Smith at the Mike linebacker position has been phenomenal. And Green Bay's gotten no pressure on the quarterback this year.
None.
They have failed to get any type of pressure on the quarterback. And for a young quarterback, it's going to be huge. You want to rattle him up a little bit. I'd like to see Justin Fields use his arm and really get those weapons going. Money with 2 O's, Darnell Mooney, and, of course, Allen Robinson. We could talk days about. I mean, Cole Kmet's a decent tight end, so I'd really like to see him get his weapons going. But I do have the Packers winning this one.
Yeah, the Packers are the favorite. I don't think I squeezed that in there. 4.5-point favorites coming into this one. But this is
that offense is very explosive. So, but we'll see.
This is my upset of the week. I think that The Bengals should have won last week. A lot of self-imposed wounds. Joe Burrow, some ill-advised throws down in overtime and then at the beginning of the third quarter, stuff that he normally doesn't do. So I think, and obviously they should have won the game multiple times earlier than overtime as well.
Yeah.
But whenever I boil it down, I think that the Packers have shown vulnerabilities this year. And I think that this is a team and a defense that can take advantage of those vulnerabilities. And it seems that the Bears always find a way to just stick their nose into everything that you think they're a bad team. You look up, oh, they're 4-2. It's like, what? But they're obviously 3-2 right now, but I'm predicting 4-2.
Well, I think the Packers the Bengals did a great job to get into Aaron Rodgers. And I mean, you take what the Bears have and run
Khalil Mack.
Yeah. I'm not saying the Bengals pass rushers aren't compared to that, but I'm just saying you got Khalil Mack is a
you have legitimate like sack threat.
Yeah.
Ian's like the Bengals with Trey Hendrickson. He's not necessarily a sack getter. He's more of he's going to cause some pressure and force the quarterback.
And I felt like almost on every drop back, there was something going on back in that backfield against the Bengals. So
they're without their left tackle, David Bakantari or whatever his name is. And you know, they missed him. They missed him bad. And so they won't have Jair Alexander. So that opens it up for the Bears offense to potentially Allen Robinson going against a lesser cornerback. Please, dear God, get him the ball. Great things will happen. And so the Cincinnati Bengals go on the road and play the Detroit Lions. The Lions have been their hearts have been ripped out and stomped on multiple times. Their coach, Dan Campbell, has grown on me a lot over the past few weeks. He just seems like a coach that legitimately cares and just wants to win. Obviously, he started out a little freaky and weird. But hey, that's your type of guy. So you may have a soft spot here for the Lions. But Fred, what do you think about this game?
I do have a soft spot for the Lions. I feel bad for them. I love Dan Campbell. I love a coach who has so much fire and will to win, especially in a losing situation like Detroit. But they just can't get past the Cincinnati Bengals, man. That offense is way too explosive. Joe Burrow is way too good at life. Jamar Chase is unreal at football. And that defense, again, is like I harped on last week, I think is phenomenal. Trey Hendrickson's done great things this year. Logan Wilson, I harped on again, a top 3 Mike linebacker this year. So I'd see the Bengals. I think they rout them. I think they come back. They're mad they lost to Green Bay. I think they just take it to Detroit this week.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't expect this one to be much of a game. I think that this is one of those games where, you know, the Bengals are starting to get some media attention, which is weird over the last few years because how bad they have been. But with this group, it feels different. And here's why. It seems like this group not only expected the media attention, expected to be a good football team. They told us all preseason long, like, hey, we're going to be a team. Obviously, Trey Waynes got moved to IR. So that stinks. Dude just had a miserable Bengal career. But Eli Apple has done a decent job early on, stepping up for him. Mike Hilton, Chidobe Awuzie has done great things.
He's been great.
Jesse Bates, Von Bell. Their secondary should not be hurt too bad against a Lions team that just lost their top O lineman and Frank Ragnow for the year. They've got multiple wide receivers, including their star tight end TJ Hawkinson on the injury report. So there's a lot going on with this Lions team. The Bengals need to, and I believe will, get the job done in a big way.
I love what they're doing with the 2 running backs of Joe Mixon and Samaj Piron.
Yeah.
I really like Piron, what he's done.
Now, Joe Mixon last week, if you're just a box score watcher of last week, you would say, what happened to Joe Mixon? He was on the injury report all week. He didn't practice a single day. And so far, early on in the week, he's been involved in practices. And so it looks like he'll probably have a bigger workload against the Detroit Lions. But like you said, they are mixing Pirine, Chris Evans. But Pirine is on the COVID list. So, and it's not looking like he will be cleared, his status up in the air. So Chris Evans, the rookie, will have a great opportunity to submit himself as a potential for years to come RB2 for this team. So we're both going Bengals there. And then Texans on the road to play the Colts. Man, the Colts were so close on Monday night to make a huge stand. And I kind of want to harp on something with you. You texted me during the game something that I wanted to screenshot and hang up behind me for this episode. I'm starting to become a believer in Jonathan Taylor. And I have been on the Jonathan Taylor hype train, not only because I have him on almost all my fantasy football teams, but because of how good and explosive of a runner this kid is. He sees holes and he hits them. And he just has that in the words of Gus Johnson, that get away from the cop speed. Like that dude just hits a hole and goes, man. Like he can see these holes. He can hurdle through them. He can truck defenders over. He's a little bit of everything. So I kind of just want to give this over to you. What have you seen out of Jonathan Taylor, the offense, and what did you see on Monday, and just your little who you think is going to win, which I don't think,
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, his kind of build's kind of like a bulkier back. He actually reminds me of the running back on the other side, Mark Ingram, when he was, really coming up into the league. His pass catching ability is what I'm most impressed by. And when you think about the best running backs in the NFL, you think that they have that pass catching ability. Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, to name a few. And I think Jonathan Taylor can be that. I mean, he's so explosive. I mean, you saw that screen pass in the beginning of the game, second drive of the game. He took that ball, he got one block and was gone. I mean, dude just hit the hole and bounced.
And he changed the game early for them.
Yep. And I mean, like you said, he runs hard. He falls forward, which I think is a great trait for a running back as well. Jonathan Taylor, if he keeps going, I mean, he makes a case next year to be a top 5 guy coming into the league. I mean, plain and simple.
Come on, man.
Especially, but I mean, I think Carson Wentz played well last week.
You did. You were all over it.
I think he played a great football game. That defense is rough. That defense has got to step up. I think they do this week. I think they dominate Houston, actually. I think they put it to them. And you want to talk about a team mad. I'm sure they're upset. So I got the Colts, another team who doesn't get really pressure on the quarterback, but, I mean, it's hard to against Lamar anyway. But,
yeah.
I don't like anything out of Houston. That's about it for Houston.
Texans quarterback Davis Mills is coming off the best game of his career. So Davis Mills threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns against the New England Patriots. And so for him to do that against a Bill Belichick-led defense, especially with Bill's, reputation against rookie quarterbacks, was really, really impressive. But he's not a good quarterback. Like,
no. He's a placeholder for sure.
Yes, and Tyrod, whenever he's back, will take the reins right back over. And
as he should.
Yeah, the Colts will get the job done. They're 9.5-point favorites for a reason. And they're such a good team for being in the position that they are. They're 1-4, but their point differential, they've only been outscored by 20 points this year. So it's not like they're getting blown out. If you average that out across 4 losses, I mean, that's five points a game. So, I mean, all one possession. The Colts, I believe, get the job done here and just kind of prove like, hey, we're not a terrible team. They're maybe not great per se, but they got some interesting weapons, man. And T.Y. Hilton got cleared for practice, so maybe he'll be a late active, and then you can really see what Zach Pascal, Paris Campbell, Michael Pittman Jr., and T.Y. Hilton can do with Jonathan Taylor, Naheem Hines, and Marlon Mack. Like, their offense is good, man. And Mo Alley,
a lot of weapons.
Really good tight end. So I'm going Colts as well. So another 1:00 game is the Rams going on the road to play the Giants. I'm not seeing much of a game. I'm just going to say it. I have the Rams winning, and I'll send it over to you.
This one upset of the week. I'm going to go Giants over the Rams here.
Explain.
Kadarius Toney.
Is that your man?
That's my man. He's a Florida kid. Not a fan of that, but golly, have a game last week, kid. Yeah. Obviously has some anger issues, it seems, with the punching, but I mean, he's a rookie. I hope that he can contain that. Of course, they're going against the Rams. That entails Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. So that's a tough defense to go against. But man, I just have a weird feeling the Giants get it done here. I know Shaquan, I got a French one. Saquon Barkley is hurt. But I think some guys step up. There's going to be a weirdly fought game at home, and I think the Giants pull it out for some reason. I got that's my upset of the week feeling.
I really like their backup in Devontae Booker. I'm a huge Devontae Booker.
He's tough.
I think he's a really good back. We saw flashes of it with the Raiders last year because he got to play behind walking IR spot himself, Josh Jacobs. But nonetheless, I'm intrigued there. I'm going to star this one as your upset of the week. You are 1-0 in upset of the weeks. So this week, my upset of the week is the Bears. Yours is the Giants. We're both going against pretty tough teams in the Rams and the Packers. But nonetheless, you have the Rams moving to 4-2. So then the final game of the 1:00 window, the Kansas City Chiefs in desperate need of a win, last place of the AFC West, go on the road to play the Washington football team, a defense that has been everything but what they were last year. They absolutely willed this team to wins last year, and this year it seems like they're willing them out of wins. The Washington football team, very interesting game here. A lot of drama circulating around the John Gruden situation has fallen into some Washington press and into some old things that the Washington football team were involved with. So a lot of media attention for the wrong reasons. This could be blowout city per se. But Fred, what are your thoughts?
Kansas City has got to win this game, and I believe they will. That defense, though, holy mackerel,
Terrible.
has been so bad this year, Kansas City. I know it's been bad in the past. Of course, we all know they focus on the offense, whatever, that's fine. But this year it's taken to another level how bad they've been. Like, you look at the numbers, man, where they rank. Defensive 28th in pass yards given up, 29th in rush yards given up.
Yeah.
And they're last in the league in points allowed. They give up almost 33 points a game.
Now, not granted, their schedule has not been easy, but that's still beyond stupid.
You've gone to 2 Super Bowls back to back. Show me something.
Prove it.
And Patty Mahomes, you got to take care of football, bud. You got to, bud. I mean, 6 picks for him is like,
he threw 6 all of last year, I believe.
Yep. So I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire being out hurts. I got to see something else from somebody besides the guys named Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. I have to. Plain and simple. Yeah. And with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, somebody's got to step up. I don't know if it's Josh Gordon. I don't know if it's old Pringle boy. I don't know. I'm at a loss. Mecole Hardman, sure. Why not? Washington football team. Your defense is supposed to be this top defense. You use first-round picks.
Young top defense.
Where are you at?
Yeah,
honey. Chase Young, hey, wake up, bud. I know you're a Buckeye, but do something in the league, huh? Get me out of here.
Okay, so
Kansas City big. I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, I also have the Chiefs winning, but like you said, they're in desperate need of a win, and they're a top team in the league. They'll get the job done, but they have holes that need to be answered. And how do they improve? Stephon Gilmore, who could have been huge for them, he's already off the board. Yep. Richard Sherman, who could have been a nice guy just to bring in for a little bit of experience, maybe help you a little bit. He's off the board. Who do they go to? Like, is there anybody that they can trade for? Maybe Trey Flowers just got released. Maybe you bring him in. But I don't know. They get no pressure, and their secondary is awful. So, but the Chiefs win because the Washington football team is not a good team. And then the 4:00 window starts. This is my game of the week. Cardinals go on the road to the Cleveland Browns. Must win, in my opinion, for the Cleveland Browns. And the Cardinals are just rolling at an unreal rate, but they're also not winning their games like really, like decisively. I can't think of the word off the top of my head, but they're undefeated. But I mean, you look at some of their wins and how close they are. 7 to the 49ers on Trey Lance's first start. No, they blew out the Rams, and then they blew out the Jaguars, and then it's a close game against the Vikings. And so they have been rolling to an extent, but they've had a couple games where scratch your head a little bit, like the 49er game last week. On the road to play the Cleveland Browns. My game of the week. Where are you going here, Fred?
I'm going to go Browns. I think the Cardinals dropped their first game this week. Their rush defense is really bad. And that is a recipe for disaster when you're going against the likes of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and against a team who only run the football. So, and of course, Cleveland's defense, who looked really bad last week, I think they step up this week and they shut Kyler Murray down. I think they make his life not a fun one next week or this week. So I got the Browns. I think it'll be close, but I do think they run all over them.
Yeah, so the reason I'm kind of saying that this is a must win, because if they are to win this when they move to 4-2, and then you look at their schedule coming up, play the Broncos, should be a win. Steelers should be a win. Bengals, that's going to be a battle. Patriots should be a win. Lions should be a win. So it's like you start going into these games where it's like you're the overwhelming favorite from here on out for the stretch of six or 7 games until you play the Ravens in week 12. So like, this is like your game where you are like, if we win this one, we're 4-2 and we are in the driver's seat. If you lose this one, now you're in an absolute war with the Broncos, because the Broncos would be like, okay, maybe we can get this one done. But just because I don't believe in Baker and I'm taking Kyler Murray, I'm going to bet on Kyler Murray. It's my game of the week. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I think this game is so much fun. I think it'll be one of those 4:00 games that just stay on my TV because I'll just have a lot of fun watching it. This game, I again, could be really high scoring. I don't think the Browns defense it's all it's racked up to be. Now they could prove me wrong, but I don't see it. They spend a lot of money over there, but I just don't see it. I'm taking the Cardinals. So now, the interesting game that is a lot of breaking news revolving around the Las Vegas Raiders. And real quickly, I just kind of want to say, when you're in a position of power that John Gruden has been in for multiple years of his life, you must be smart. Everything you say and everything you do in the dark will be brought out into the light. My mom taught me that at a really young age, and I've carried that with me through my whole life, where, if you're doing something behind closed doors or that you may think, nobody is seeing, nobody's hearing about, eventually that crap's going to get brought out to the light, and you will be exposed for who you really are. And that kind of happened with John Gruden, multiple emails and such. I'm not going to get into necessarily everything involved, but he was relieved. He resigned as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Fred, just kind of give your initial thoughts, reactions, and maybe a potential sleeper for who's going to get the job.
I'm very disappointed. I was never a John Gruden fan. Be that as it may, I don't care who you are. Those words should never come out of your mouth. I guess that's the type of person he is, unfortunately. I never want to see somebody be like that. I don't care if I like him or not. I always look for the best in people. But in this case, I mean, man, you're a scum. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and then kind of what I alluded to earlier with the Washington, there was a lot of things with some cheerleaders that happened, and it's just like,
I mean, it's flowing back to Tampa Bay. I mean, everywhere he's gone, it feels like he's just left like a poison gas or something. Left the disease there. I feel bad for Las Vegas. I think Derek Carr is a great, not only a great player, but a great person.
Fantastic guy, man.
Got a lot of young players there. A lot of guys who probably looked up to him and probably seeing this probably crushed him. I mean, you have a guy in your locker room who's the first or one of the openly gay players in your locker room. I mean, how do you think he feels about that?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think Carl Nassib took that? He's already trying to probably build a rapport in that locker room and trying to, earn trust and acceptance from guys even around the league. So, I just think it's a terrible situation. Who gets the job? That's a good question. Who?
It's coordinator for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I know he's been. I'm surprised he's not a head coach now. Sleeper, Bill Cowher, Hall of Fame coach, Pittsburgh Steelers legend. Shouts out my guy, Bill Cowher.
That'd be pretty cool.
I know he's made a really big name for himself. He's an awesome,
analyst.
But yeah, I'll
give my sleeper, Drew Brees.
Cool. That would be. I'd like to see him coach. He's such a quarterbacks have such an awesome.
I was listening to Sunday Night Football, real soundball, real quick, to get us away from the severity of the situation.
Yeah.
Again, we are not making light of it. It's crazy, and prayers go out to everybody that's affected by all of this. And John Gruden will never be associated with the NFL ever again. You probably won't see his face on television outside of negative things. But nonetheless, I can't remember where I was going. Oh, Sunday Night Football. Drew Brees, man, they had that rain delay. His knowledge he's so much fun to listen to. And I was like, man, this guy can be a heck of a coach. And
I feel the same about Tony Romo too.
Yes.
Tony Romo's such a smart guy.
Tony Romo and Drew Brees, bring one of them in as OC, one of them in as HC, and just let it rock.
That'd be sick.
The Raiders go on the road to the Broncos. So somehow, some way, these guys are going to have to put it behind them and play a football game on Sunday. But the Broncos are favored by 3.5 points. I'm going to get mine out of the way. I'm going to go Broncos, and you can kind of take it from here. I'm
going to go Raiders. I listened to their new coaches, their interim coaches interview today. Seems like a stand-up guy. He spoke on John Gruden, and he said, he appreciates for what he did to get him a job in the NFL, but he also understands what he did. And I think that he'd like to fire under them. I hope the guys, in in Las Vegas take it as fuel and use it and say, you know what, it's not about him. It's bigger than him. And I hope they come out and play a good football game. I like what they've done on offense. I like to see Derek Carr get back to what he was doing first couple of weeks. So I got the Raiders here.
All right, so we'll move on from that. I respect that, and again, prayers go out to anybody that was affected by that whole situation. It's
Absolutely.
a really sad, and it shouldn't be involved in the game, and we shouldn't have scums like that leading football teams and leading people in society in general.
Young men, yeah.
Yeah, but overall, let's just move on. The Cowboys, one of the surprise teams, in my opinion, in the NFL. Really, really good team. On the road to play the Patriots. Cowboys are favored by 4 points. And Fred, I'm going to let you go.
I don't even know why people are discussing Mac Jones and Jamar Chase in the same sentence of offensive rookie of the year. I think you should find a new hobby. Mac Jones has not looked good this year. Sorry. I hate to tell you. He's a rookie. What'd you expect? Like, there's a few rookies that come in this league and tear it up. He is not one. The Patriots aren't good. Plain and simple. Do I say that because they beat up on the Steelers so many years? I don't know. Not been impressed by anybody on offense. Matt Judon. Yeah, Matt Judon has played phenomenal this year. Getting to the quarterback at a high rate. I think Kyle Duggar's been great on defense. But holy cow, Trevon Diggs picks off everything. I've never seen anything like it. I guess his last name is notorious with the good hands. And that offense, you see it. Zeke, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, all those guys. Dalton Schultz, sure. Dak Prescott looks great. Cowboys continue to roll. Make me a believer in the Cowboys, I guess. Cowboys by a lot.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to kill Mac Jones there, but I just don't understand what the hype is.
Jamar Chase is the rookie of the year. Next question.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Cowboys have figured out who they are. They're a run-first team with a unbelievable quarterback that can make every throw you need him to. You're not going to require too much of him based off the injuries coming off of and how good Zeke and Tony Pollard actually are. I mean, when those two are running, they both can average 6 yards per carry. It's absolutely unbelievable. They're like Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb-esque. They could be a Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison-esque, like just one of those 1-2 punches that you can rely on. Zeke gets 19, 20 touches. Tony Pollard gets his 10 to 12. And they both actually produce at a really, really high level. And Dalton Schultz, man, has been tearing it up. Amari Cooper has been really, really solid. CeeDee Lamb. I mean, they got everything you want. Michael Gallup's on IR right now, so maybe some start coming back down to earth eventually. But highest scoring team in the NFC right now. Cowboys continue to roll and absolutely dominate the Patriots, who barely snuck away from the Texans last week. So on to Sunday Night Football. You kind of alluded to this earlier. I'm going to let you kind of take the floor once I get through the matchup. It's the Seattle Seahawks on the road going to Pittsburgh. The Steelers come into that night, 4.5-point favorites. It's Sunday Night Football, waiting all day for a Sunday night. In the words of Carrie Underwood, and Fred will be waiting all day to hear that song. So, Fred, take this one away. What do you see? Geno Smith versus Ben Roethlisberger.
Unfortunate. Russ is hurt. I love Russell Wilson and what he does on the football field. And I like when we have good quarterback matchups and good team matchups, especially in a primetime game like that. I think the Steelers do win this one. I think the Seattle's defense has been very lackluster this year. They've given up a lot of points and given up a lot of rushing and passing yards. So that is not good. We'll keep it as simple as that. Ben Roethlisberger tossing around last week, man. He's finding Deontay Johnson for deep. Juju Smith-Schuster, of course, out for the year. Probably will never wear Steelers uniform again. But I think the mixture of Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Najee Harris looked awesome last week. And then maybe James Washington, Ray McLeod, somebody like that steps up to be that wide receiver 3. We shall see. But I think the Steelers are too much for Geno Smith and that struggling defense.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Steelers. Kind of what you alluded to. Najee Harris is a real deal. He's a great running back. He kind of proved me wrong. I wasn't really high on him coming out of the draft process, and I'll be the first to admit I was wrong. He's going to be a great pro for a long time. And then once they get a good O-line, he's going to be something special. So it'll be one of those things, man. I like the Steelers a lot this week. I picked up their defense in a lot of leagues. I just think they get after the quarterback this week. I think that they are hungry for wins. This is not a team that like with Mike Tomlin that's going to fold a lot and that's going to back down. And especially on a Sunday Night Football stage, they already have one huge win against the Bills. Why not add another one on Sunday night? So I have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning kind of big. I'll take them by 17, brother. 17, 31-14 is my final score.
Love that.
But Monday Night Football would be the next game, and I'm assuming this is your game of the week.
My game of the week.
I really like this game. This was my third choice, right behind the Chargers and the Ravens. But Monday Night Football, the Buffalo Bills, man, they've been on a tear. One of the best defenses in the league, best offenses in the league. They actually have a running game this year. They haven't even really let Stephon Diggs cook yet, and they are still cooking teams left and right. All on the back of their wonderful quarterback of Josh Allen. But they are on the road for Monday Night Football against arguably the greatest running back over the last 4 years, and Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill has always been a good pro, but A.J. Brown hasn't had a great year. But Julio Jones will probably not play. I haven't heard anything official yet, but he always seems to wind up hurt some way or another. Bills are 5.5-point favorites, and since it's your game of the week, brother, take it away.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills. Like you alluded on, man, that defense has been so good. Josh Allen's been great ever since week one. He's just stepped it up. He's proven a lot of people right and wrong. Tennessee's defense has been okay this year. I like Harold Landry. I think he's done a great job against the quarterback. Ryan Tannehill is just one of the most puzzling quarterbacks in the NFL. I know he hasn't had his weapons all healthy this year, but I mean, when you're turning around, giving it to that big dog behind you,
the brute,
makes your life a lot easier. But I think the Bills are way too much, and I think they do a decent job stopping Derrick Henry. Is that just allowing 100 yards rushing? Is that considered stopping him? Maybe. But I got the Bills. I think it's going to be close. That's why it's my game of the week. I think it's going to be a hard fought, kind of in the trenches win for the Bills. But like I said, Buffalo by 3.
Yeah, I love that call. Buffalo by 3. I think that Ryan Tannehill is actually going to have to throw the ball this week. I think for the first time, maybe this year, they're going to more so rely on Tannehill than they are Derrick Henry. I think it's good for Tannehill as well. He needs to let it go just to show other teams that, hey, we can still throw the football. Because A.J. Brown has had you need to get A.J. Brown going. You need to get these guys going, man, like Josh Reynolds. And if Julio plays, you need to get him going. Like, you need to get these guys involved and rolling because, like, if not, these teams are just going to stack the box and ask you to throw to beat them. And
Julio Jones hasn't played the last 2 weeks, and he's still your leading receiver. That's a problem.
That's a huge problem. It's an issue.
On 12 catches. I mean,
dude. They have not thrown the ball. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But obviously they do have Derrick Henry. But at some point, like you would think that they would start to maybe think like, okay, hey, we need to let Derrick Henry have a couple possessions off. Because I mean, this guy's just a Brahma bull that just they keep feeding him. It's like running
backs 142 times already this year.
I know running backs have a short shelf life anyway, and you're just drilling them into the ground.
Maybe not him. I don't know.
Yeah,
every week I'm like, maybe he'll slow down this week. It's like, oh, well.
Nope. Yeah, Fred's game of the week. So I'll have to highlight this one. He has the Bills winning by 3. So that wraps the matchups up. And now it's time for our weekly thing where we do our fantasy boom prediction of the week. It's a competition that we do here. Troy is currently winning 1-0, considering that Fred's choice was hurt and he was ruled out. Devontae Parker, so he got 0 points. Laviska Shenault caught 1 catch for 58 yards. But hey, 6.8 points got the job done this week. So, Fred, I'm going to give it to you. Who is this week's breakout fantasy boom player? Again, this is PPR format, so point per reception. Fred, who you rocking?
I'm going to go Donovan Peoples-Jones from the Cleveland Browns.
Interesting.
Had a decent week last week. 5 catches, 70 yards. One of those catches was over 40 yards on 6 targets. University of Michigan kid. I think with Jarvis Landry out, Odell Beckham Jr. not playing, up to his standard. I think this week in their matchup, I think they're going to be forced to throw the ball against Arizona. I think just because it's going to be that high scoring and maybe gets away from them where they're forced to throw the ball. So I'd like to see him get going. And I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is that answer. And I think he booms this week.
All right. So Donovan Peoples-Jones, and then everybody's asking, Troy, where are you going? I'm going Mecole Hardman from the Kansas City Chiefs. Mecole Hardman last week got 12 targets, against the Bills. He caught 9 of them for 76 yards. Outside of that, didn't really do too much. Didn't go in the end zone or anything along those lines. So it's just a basic week for him. But nonetheless, I think he booms this week. I think he has 20-plus fantasy points. Like I think he's a guy, man, that will be a beneficiary to one, Patty trying to be like, hey, I'm still the best quarterback in the NFL, and just the Chiefs trying to get back on track against a very, very bad Washington football team. If I had to go a little bit lesser or a little bit of a bigger name, I would go Deontay Johnson, just because, I think he has an insane game. But my fantasy boom of the week is McCole Hardman, and he will go and face off against Donovan Peoples-Jones of the Cleveland Browns. So it'll be an interesting matchup there. Again, I am 1-0 in this category.
Congratulations, sir.
But you are 12-4 in your matchup predictions. So that's a pretty hot start.
And I had an upset of the week, man. Come on.
And you're 1-0 in upset of the week. But for this, like I said, this is pretty much concludes this week's NFL episode. A little bit of a lighter episode for you guys, just diving into the matchups, predictions, and then our fantasy boom. But we wanted to get this out for you guys, and if you got any sort of suggestions on what we should add, or if there's something that you want us to talk about, maybe a question, throw it down in the comment section below. We will get right back to you. And Fred, you can kind of take us out of here. But one thing to look out for really, really quickly, I will be doing an interview, kind of stepping out of our normal comfort zone here. I will be conducting an interview with Gallatin County's new head coach, Vance Sullivan. So keep your head out for that. And Fred, take us out of here, baby.
Hey, man. Love Gallatin County. Always so much love for them. Can't wait to see that. See what Troy cooks up there. But hey, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Love talking NFL with you guys. Remember, don't be a star. Don't be a superstar. Change the game. Be an X factor. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us. God bless. And peace out.
Boom.